Detective Lieutenant Frank Bullitt, some other kind of cop. Pity the guy he works for.
Lieutenant, don't try to evade the responsibility. In your parlance, you blew it.
What the hell is going on here? A high-speed pursuit? 2 men are killed? An officer in the hospital? A witness almost murdered?
Captain Baker would like to have a word with you.
Now listen to me, Lieutenant.
All right, nail him. I want him written off.
Do you let anything reach you? I mean, really reach you? Or are you so used to it by now that nothing really touches you? You're living in a sewer, Frank. Day after day. With you, living with violence is a way of life. Living with violence and death.
The way Frank Bullitt's swinging, you know he's heading for a crash with that roar of official disapproval. But when some rare Chicago blood starts spilling in San Francisco, they hand Bullitt the mop.
Now, what went wrong, Lieutenant?
Who else knew where he was?
What?
Who else knew where he was?
What are you implying?
Well, they knew where to look for him, and they used your name to get in.
Are you suggesting I disclosed his whereabouts?
You believe what you want. You work your side of the street, and I'll work mine.
Start the show. Jeremy Ratchford has an audition for a spinoff of Yellowstone. I don't know how much of that we can talk about. And I just said off air that if anyone wants to convey believability when it comes to grabbing grub off a chuck wagon with a pair of 6 shooters, and we're going to go get some engines, it's this dude. That brings us to Bullitt, though, because we were talking about that, which is, I think, a really, really well-made film, even though I can't really tell you what it's about. And it's a well-acted
Not
film.
Alone.
What's that?
Not Alone.
Yeah, do you know, like, I mean, I have some theories on what it's about, but it's basically a set piece of cool moments, right? Thread together. Isn't that what? I mean, I will give McQueen props on his Hugh Hefner-esque pajamas, but the rest of the movie, it's really good. Great car chase. It's fun. It's entertaining to watch. But what the fuck is this movie about?
My verdict on Steve McQueen, man, I don't know about this guy anymore.
Why?
I really don't. The more
Why do you say that?
Like I hear for this one specifically, and it's a good move. It's a smart move, but he gave away all his dialogue, and the guy that plays his partner knew it. He said it doesn't matter who says it, so I have to say all the dialogue, and he doesn't say a word. And he was designing it because in his head he was a movie star. He was not an actor. But he always would try and do these quirky, his little making the coffee thing, and like to get like, and it goes back to the Mag 7 too. And he was doing all these weird little, it was like quirky things. I'm like, I don't know what you're doing, but from everything I've heard about him, he's a douchebag.
Yeah,
and I don't buy it anymore. And then that whole like the phenomena that it was, I saw a thing that they said you could interchange any of the cops in 1967. All the movies that were cop oriented, They all had fedoras, the jackets. They all looked the same, and they all kind of acted the same. And then all of a sudden, McQueen's got the turtleneck, and the fashion change. He starts off with the jacket, but that was very conscious. They hired a stylist for that. So there was all sorts of that stuff going on. He didn't want to do it either because he thought he was a flower child. His fans were hippies.
Yeah.
So he didn't want to be a pig, as they said. But he did it. But again, because someone else was watching something and they said that this might be his best performance. And then they brought up his other incredible performance of Towering Inferno. And that's when I went, that was a best performance. Don't forget to hit those ceilings. Remember our joke? And it was like,
all right,
just kind of, I didn't see acting there. I didn't see oh my God.
We took a long look at Towering Inferno, you and I, and we have a lot of interesting perspective to offer up on that film. But I do think for some reason that's one of the Steve McQueen performances I do like watching. I don't know why. It's exactly like you say it is. It's, hey, telling firefighters what they should already know for the purposes of the audience, feeling it's believable. And there is all of that. But for some reason, I just prefer him in that than I do in some of these other movies. I mean, I think, maybe it's because opposite Robert Vaughn, who was also very stoic, it's like too, like,
okay.
What?
Robert
Yeah.
Vaughn is Ted Cruz. Like that, when I watched him, his sleazy, cheesy, and he's good at it. But I went, oh my God, that's Ted Cruz, and that's 60 years ago.
Yeah.
That really kind of hit me is that I mean, I know we're in a ton of shit right now, but it's a lot of the same shit. And 60 years ago, the politicians were just as, hey, I'm trying to do something, and I need you to do it, and I'm going to fuck you over. And he looked like him. He's kind of like, everything I used to remember going, oh my God, it's fucking Ted Cruz. He's evil and sleazy. That party with all the women. He's like,
I do feel like there's something to what you're saying. I mean, McQueen and Vaughn were obviously friends. I don't think you were on a McQueen picture at this point if you weren't friends, if he did not like you personally. Don Gordon plays his partner who has most of the dialogue. Don Gordon delivers it effectively. But the unsung hero in this who faces off with Vaughn and all his politicalness is Simon Oakland as the police chief who's like threatened in front of the church and still an actor who's kind of he played the racist in Chato's Land. And of course he was on Kolchak and The Night Stalker, another one of our favorite shows as the newspaper editor. But he stands up to him and is such a minimalist, which I really respect when actors can remain still in a scene and make it captivating to watch without having to chew gum or do whatever. McQueen does slip into that. He will be a guy that fidgets. Oakland gives the whole movie, I think, a sense of gravitas. I think he delivers and also opposite, what's his name? Mr. Roper, right? Who's like the guy who wants to use the political ends to justify what the department needs. And that makes sense too in the bigger picture, but is probably too much of a double agent for people, I mean,
here, keep him out of reach for 48 hours. That was the setup of the movie. When we say, what was it about?
Yeah.
It was supposed to be about, hey, you got to keep Johnny Ross safe for 48 hours. There's a movie called 48 Hours. There's a movie called Another 48 Hours. Like that 2 days, it's a 2-day movie, and all hell's breaking loose. And I really love the Simon Oakland thing too. I think what set him up was his kids in the hallway. Dad, blah, 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 blah. They're all getting ready. And you got to go, this is Americana. This is like, he's got 5 kids. He's a good dad. Comes out, yeah, you got to do that. You got to do this. Yeah. I love him.
Vaughn confronts him on the church steps. But I used to see Oakland yell all the time as the commander in Black Sheep Squadron. So it's interesting to see him play such a stoic, matter-of-fact guy. Very good. He was like that in Kolchak too, though I didn't discover Kolchak until later. But he does kind of have that sort of I'm the commander, and there's that great moment where he's like McQueen finally tells him he's like he's dead. I got him. The body's hidden in the morgue under a John Doe. And they're like, you expect like the whole building to start shaking, and Oakland kind of just takes a deep breath and goes, "What is the plan here?" And he tells them, and then he says, "Well, it's Sunday. I'm not going to write this up till tomorrow morning. So you have that amount of time to finish whatever this is."
What the hell is going on here? A high-speed pursuit? 2 men are killed? An officer in the hospital? A witness almost murdered? Now, I want to know what's happening, and I want to know now. Let's hear it straight.
Here's a report.
Now, a man like Chalmers could be a great help to the department. He could speak for us where it counts. He could fight for us in the legislature. Now, you have got to turn over his witness. Where's Ross?
Tell him. That's an order.
He's dead.
Dead?
He died last night.
After you moved him?
Before. I've got him downstairs under a John Doe.
Now, you are sick. Smuggling a dead man out of a hospital? And now 2 men killed who may have had nothing to do with it.
The man I was chasing killed Ross.
How do you know? Did you see him?
Yes, he tried to nail me with a shotgun. A Winchester pump.
The radio report said the 2 men were burned beyond recognition. Now, all he's got are 2 dead men who would never hold up in court.
I've got one lead. I want to move on it.
Miss Dorothy Simmons, Thunderbolt Hotel, San Mateo.
Ross called her person to person from a phone booth in Union Square, approximately 9 hours before he was killed.
So he called his girlfriend. What does that prove?
This is Sunday. I'm going to hold that writ until we come to work Monday morning. Frank? Go on, get out.
And you just love it. You love those moments in movies when like somebody in authority who may be riding the main character's ass for whatever reason finally relents and says, "Okay, I'm with you on this. Go get it done." And it's done really well between those 2 actors. It's not a bad movie. Hickman is also somewhat a star in this as the hitman, but the stunt driver. And French Connection, the 7-Ups, Hickman always showed up big in these movies because he was the stunt driver who made these car chases what they were. So you can't really talk Bullitt without mentioning Hickman, I think. And he's great as that punk cop in a French Connection where he's like he's like giving him shit and they're yelling at him back. I mean, you know what I'm talking about? That scene where he's like, he's like, "You blew it, Doyle." And he's like, "Hey man, fuck you." You know, it's like, whatever. Anyway, Hickman, stunt driver extraordinaire, chewing the scenery with the best of them.
Hey, I have in my notes here too. Early on, where it's like, you got to keep him safe. He's in this hotel room.
Yeah.
And they walk into a sleazebag hotel room. Right away, the windows, the freeway, the fires, they went, and they were all going, "This smells bad." I said, this entire movie could have been different had they changed rooms like they thought they should have.
Right.
In their head, they were like, "Get him the fuck out of here."
So
Why
does the suspect let the killers in? Because he's by the door, remember? And the officers like step away from the door.
This is one of those things too, where you go, because, this is the other. There's 3 guys in the beginning of the movie that all look a lot the same.
Yes.
Johnny
that
Rock,
confused me.
like the bellhop that says, "Oh, he's here." Nah, nah, nah. Those 2 guys could have been brothers. But he goes to the hotel, says, "You have anything for Johnny Ross?" No. Crosses that off his list. Then he goes and he makes a phone call. And then, but it turns out, again, this was like, It turns out in the end he was a used car salesman who was sort of the double, but he calls the guys and opens the door, and they come in and kill him. Oh, and we never find out what happens to the other cop that got shot.
Yeah.
All that time in the hospital, and we don't find out if he was okay.
Right. I'm just going to assume, because I like to assume it this way, that he was fine ultimately. It's a movie full of really well staged set pieces, and it's entertaining. In terms of the deeper meaning of it all, I'm kind of at a loss. But hey, man, it's not up for me to know. Sometimes I enjoy things for what they are. I don't know. I mean, these were kind of inept hitmen because I would have, I mean, you would think they would cut that dude in half when they stormed that room, but instead they kind of hit him in the shoulder and they're like, let's take the gun apart and let's get to happy hour. It basically was kind of what I felt like the casualness of it all. Like I thought they were going to mow that guy down.
They call McQueen and say, hey, the senator's at the front door wanting to come up. And he goes, He said, I'll be there in 5 minutes. That scene goes down. McQueen pulls up as they're taking the second body out of the hotel. So you're telling me the ambulances showed up, got everyone situated, and you're getting in the ambulance, and McQueen shows up when he said he could be there in 5 minutes? It was just one of those things where I went, because it was all on high alert, like, hey man, senator's at the door. And he goes, no fucking way, I'm coming, don't. And then boom, the door opens up. But he wasn't as close as he said.
That whole setup gets adjusted with much more reality if he just doesn't say 5 minutes. If all he says is I'm coming right there, then then your situation's handled. So that could have been done in the script. It could have been one of those things where Yates and McQueen came together and said, I don't know, but it is one of those things that's interesting. There was another film like that where I was like the progression of the editorial was such that things were happening so quick that it didn't make any sense that this character got from point A to point B in the convenient time they needed to. And that's one of those things that we kind of look at movies too. It's a curse of working in the business where you're like, man, that's an editorial misfire right there. But I mean, I would encourage people to see Bullitt. I mean, I think this inspired Heat. The ending of this movie is, I think, almost. What's that?
Definitely. Yeah. That's Heat. All that airplane was incredible. That was tension. That was great.
Yeah. And everyone's good in it. I don't feel like anyone in the cast short sells it. I think Vaughn is effective. Vaughn is Robert Vaughn in everything. Was, from The Man from U.N.C.L.E. to Magnificent Seven, Robert Vaughn to, again, Battle from Beyond the Stars. That came up in the last segment when we were talking about Slim Pickens. We can't get away from Roger Corman sci-fi movies today, but he's in that too. I think that was even written by John Sayles. Anyway, Vaughn is Vaughn, McQueen, Don Gordon, they do their part, and it's all good. And then, of course, Hickman kills it in the chase. I mean, that's what this movie was known for generations, was the chase, which now has been, done to death, stripped apart, outdone, redone. But at the time, that's what everyone knew this movie. This and A French Connection. It was about the chase, right? Wasn't it? When we were kids.
Funny thing for me is, I love cars, and during this chase scene, there's a white Camaro. I think it's a '67 or a '68 that shows up a few times. And it was like, to me, it stands out. I had a '67 Camaro. So when you see it, like they've gone, 10 more miles, and all of a sudden, oh, there goes the white Camaro again. We're still, all the reusable cars. I thought was funny. Here's the line Simon says, where he says, play it by the book from now on, huh? That's what he says to McQueen. When it's like, I did this and I hit the body. All right, play it by the book from now on. Like, it's beautiful.
I don't think we should just do a whole program dedicated to Simon Oakland. I don't think he ever got the respect he deserved, because just in that one season of Kolchak, the Night Stalker, when he has to listen to Kolchak, Darren McGavin, tell him about aliens or vampires or werewolf people, just the way he has to react to all of that episode after episode and try to apply some sort of editorial logic to it is so hilarious. It's just one of those things where you just, What's that?
Fucking loved Kolchak.
I know it's
Got
fun.
shots
It's
up.
fun. You know, it's running. It's
Oh,
on Peacock streaming right now.
yeah.
Shout
I
out
think
to our
I
home
own
base at Universal.
Here's another one of my notes too. Whatever happened to George Stanford Brown? I love that guy. He's the
I don't know.
doctor.
Yeah, he's
And
good
there's a
in the
little
movie
play in
too.
that where Vaughn says, "I don't want him." Like it was a nice little play, you know.
So I thought of that moment that moment in the film a few moments ago because I love that moment because he plays it so well. Like he plays it like he's used to this racism coming down from the elites, but he's the only guy that's competent doing his job.
Doctor, I need your help.
What is it?
I want this kept open. If Chalmers finds out that Ross died, he's going to fold this up, and I want the man that killed him.
I understand.
But I don't want your head on a block.
I understand. His chart could be misplaced.
You filed it. It's missing. I'll take the responsibility.
All right.
Call the coroner's office. Tell them to put Ross under a John Doe. I want a private ambulance, unmarked, and I want it quiet.
Okay.
That's all. As far as you go, Doctor, take it slow.
That officer's life, right? You know?
Yeah.
And I mean, when Vaughn confronts McQueen, McQueen's in the middle of having like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich and milk. It's kind of like, don't bother me.
Yeah. But that was great because this is a great little moment too because he walks in and he slides the window shut, and that's when he just goes to sleep. Here comes. I don't want anybody hearing what I'm going to say to you, but I'm going to flip the script and make it so that I shine. Here's the other one. How did Steve McQueen know it was the 5'10" gray-haired dude? There was a moment where he says, "Who was he?" And he goes, "Was it this?" And it turns out this is, I think, pre-hospital chase. But it was one of those things like maybe in an edit or something. I didn't know that he'd seen him yet. And all of a sudden he goes, "Was it this guy?" And they go, "Yeah, it was." It's like, it was very strange.
Yeah, because he could
sort of like, let's just go into the car. Let's get to the car. Let's get to the car chase, people.
Yeah. Well, I would still recommend it. I'd still recommend Bullitt. Jeremy Ratchford will give you his opinion momentarily.
I just a sound of the engines and the cars on the streets. I just absolutely love. Oh yeah. The amount of skid marks on the streets, you knew there were many takes.
Yeah,
because it was just marked up.
I mean, I can't help but look at those kind of pursuit scenes and look at every car in the frame because they're all stunt driver driven. So I'm always kind of trying to, in my head, map out what the Matchbox Derby conversation was with all the drivers, when they put it all out on the map for your production meeting. And he's like, okay, you take the Camaro here. Then I'm going to take it up to 40 here and then to 60 there. And then you're going to swerve to the right and you're going to go 40 degrees that way. And they all got it all caught. And I just kind of I like to look at all the cars in the shot and see how natural they can make it all look, or these are the bizarre things you do when you've I guess spent 2.5 decades in the business. You look at those. Like I also look at extras to see who's fucking blowing it back there. Like which extra is taking me right out of the land of believability. Which fucking extra Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon are they blowing it?
One of the ones when they are operating on the cop, I had a note in my head saying, did they use real doctors? Because the chatter around that operating table was real low, and like nurse, and she knew to wipe them, and it was like, do we have it? And it was so, it felt unscripted that it felt like they must have used real people.
Yeah, and you should just
said, hey,
bring in like technical advisor grade doctors to do it. I mean, that's something Rod Serling always preached. He said, like, if you've got a scene like that where it doesn't hinge on the performance, but it needs to be believed, like airline pilots was the example he used, then just get a real airline pilot to talk the dialogue the way he would do it. If it's not pivotal but important for believability, and that's one of those moments, get real doctors. Here's what you're doing. Do it.
I read a review on this too, talking about how it was procedural, and that was one of the first, procedural. I found it funny. Here, they want stuff fingerprinted when they go through all his luggage. After they've gone through all his luggage without wearing gloves.
Yeah. Yeah. It's one of those moments.
It's like, sorry, me in the back, shouldn't we be wearing gloves?
One of us, I'm not going to say who, was a regular on Cold Case for several seasons, and he knows that kind of technical stuff. And it ain't me. Jeremy Ratchford was the star of Cold Case, people. Or definitely the guy that made it worth watching.
Here's the one critique I have of the airport stuff.
Yeah, what do you got?
He tries to shoot with a handgun at 150 feet or 150 yards. Like he's way, way over there. He could just keep running. But he goes, pow! And tries to shoot him with a handgun that wouldn't reach that far. That was another one. Sorry. And maybe this was part of it. I don't know. But like you just said about background and whatnot, again, I'm still not certain why he had to kill the real John Ross, because aren't they supposed to be protecting him because he's going to be an informant on the mob? But then he's threatening to kill people, so then they got okay. But he shoots him through the glass. He lands on the floor. McQueen goes up and covers him, and everyone's like, oh. And then within seconds, they're like, oh, got to get my flight. It was like, that happened really fast that you just saw bang, bang, oh, crash, boom, bang. And like, oh, we're back to normal. I thought that was kind of odd.
Yeah.
Oh, and that was the other one I heard about McQueen. His first wife, and I don't know her. She was the mastermind.
Yeah. Neil.
McQueen didn't like to write scripts. She would get sent 5. She'd boil them down to 3, and then she'd pitch him the one she thought he should do.
Right.
I never heard of her. All I knew from him was that he was a tramp, and on Lamaze was having an affair with someone, had a car crash, and has his assistant say he was driving her home. Like, it's just like every step of the way with McQueen with me now, I just go, you know what, dude? You're not worth it. You're a sleazebag. And in the Lamaze documentary, some guy lost his legs or something, and one of the drivers. It was horrific. And he said he never heard from McQueen again.
Well, we do have to give his wife credit. Like most households, the wife is the architect of its success. And clearly, she picked great scripts in the beginning. And also, you'll note, towards the end of his career, he started doing movies like Hunter and things that were not as sort of punch in the teeth, groundbreaking in a way. So there is something about the team you have around you, and these things are not done by individuals. You know, success has a lot of players, including, in this case, I think, the sensibilities his wife offered up to get with the agent, read what was coming in, go through it, and make the right recommendation. Thomas Crown Affair, his biggest hit, I think. Bullitt, and you get what you get. But yeah, there is that side of his personality that would make a lot of us tear up our Steve McQueen fan club membership cards, which I never had to fucking begin with, but whatever.
Oh, did you ever
I don't
look
know.
at Vigilante Justice? Speaking
No,
of
I
just
need to. I need to do a little vigilante justice. I have some people put some suggestions in the comments for us to tackle here. Movies we cannot seem to totally figure out why they exist or what they're about. We'll pick something.
The thing I'm finding is now, because of this weird little feed, now when I get this, because you watched this, we think you might want to watch this. It's like, oh fuck, what's that? And it's one of those things where Bernadette Peters, Victoria Principal,
One of your favorites.
all these bit parts being played by guys like it was earlier in their careers, sort of like the Kojak phenomena with Richard Gere, Walken, and Harvey Keitel.
Right.
It's like I love seeing some of the oranges of their careers. The oranges.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or the
Industry gold, my friend. It's always good to spend an afternoon with Jeremy Ratchford, one of the business's best and brightest. Buddy, we love you.
I'll be right back.